I'm going to post the images that I've taken, and I'll merge all these videos together into one long video so you can see exactly what I saw during the walkthrough. I went through on the first time and looked at things kind of close and took photographs of the things that jump out at me, and then I walked through it again and tried to show all of those things in a cursory video. After I hear back from you as to what your interest is, what you would like to upgrade, I'll give you my recommendations, but I really don't know what it is you're attempting to achieve. If you're trying to move into it, if you're trying to sell it, if you're trying to rent it, kind of depends on what your intentions are before I could recommend what I would do if I was trying to bring it up to some improvements. Anyway, we'll be in touch. So those shutters up there look a little worn. The trim along the gable is kind of busted up. The stone could probably use some tuck point work, but it might be okay. Have moss growing on the outside of the house. Windowsills are rotting. Foundation looks pretty good. At the very least, this needs cleaned and painted. Backyard. It's not exactly well groomed, but is not a wreck for sure. Got a cantilever here, I'm going to assume is either a back porch or a kitchen. Haven't been inside yet. Old school double hung cut-ups. No storms. Same thing going on here. Upstairs windows look like they've been replaced, quite possibly, at some time since the house has been built. No, they're not. They're originals. Could certainly use a little bit of landscaping, and the driveway and sidewalk has seen its share of frost heave. I'm not sure what this garage door is gonna hold, but it looks pretty square. We'll find out from the inside. Well, as I enter the house, coming through the door, I can see this front door is in pretty bad shape. It's one of them old school 1970 model. As a matter of fact, I just tore a bunch of this stuff out of a house over on the west side. The little foyer area doesn't look too bad. The floors are not in bad shape. I mean, they're just old floors. You can leave them as is, or you can lay a laminate over them. As far as this is concerned, it just needs cleaned up and painted. The windows need cleaned up and painted. I'm not sure what this craziness is with an outlet put here so they could run a fluorescent fixture on top of the lights, but that's what somebody did in the past, and I'm sure it was fancy in the day. Coming into the kitchen, you got broken tile. I'd replace all this tile. Cabinets are old school, installed crooked, definitely with warped doors and shelves. I opened all the doors earlier. They're pretty much shot for somebody wanting to live here anyway. Obviously, there's been some critters here. Looks like the work of raccoons. I hope they're not up in here, but we'd find out. That's usually the telltale sign of the critters. Come into the closet, heading over to the basement. You'll see the condition of the plaster falling off the walls. And more work of critters. Looks like a fairly new toilet and pedestal sink have been installed. I know because I still install these pedestal sinks. I've been downstairs once already, so I know that the steps are safe enough for me to walk on. It's one of the big fears I have going into basements, is steps collapsing on me. You have a poorly textured ceiling down here. And your water main looks fairly much in order. Your gas main. You got some bad handyman wiring going on here. It continues over here as well. That was unnecessary. It could have been just as easy to do it right. An outlet where a light switch should probably go. This back area is, as you see it, I just tear most of this stuff out of here. It is a very small electrical service. We can definitely do better than that. This thing's completely filled up, and if I was to redo the kitchen, we don't have enough slots here to give 20 amp services to your kitchen. As far as the sink is concerned, take or leave it. Kind of depends on what kind of shape you want the utility room to be in. Looks like it's got a fairly updated hot water heater tank. But, you know, with the doorbell system and other stuff, it's just unsightly garbage. Communication systems, I just tear all that stuff out of here. Be done with it. It's outdated anyway. Now heading upstairs, things look a little better. The steps are in pretty good shape. As with the downstairs floor, it's a little old, but it's in decent shape. The painting up here is kind of shocking, but it is what it is. Ceiling fans drooping. Closet unfinished. Don't really know what's going on with this. Looks like an add-on. And access to probably the plumbing in the bathroom, which has a wainscot backsplash going all the way around it in pink 4.5-inch tile, bordered by bullnose black. Not very nice. Probably didn't look good when it was originally done. The floor is a little soft. I feel it giving a little bit. But if we tiled this with a concrete board, probably stiffen it right up. It would cause us to have a little transition here, but nothing beyond what I've done before in the past. Once again, the ceiling fan is drooping. These walls are not in bad condition at all. Even the closet's in good shape. You know, all your doorknobs are out of service, broken, old, need to be replaced. Even the hardware, I mean, it's just the little things, and there's hundreds of them. Handrail. And I guess this is the master bedroom. I'm not quite sure, but it's not in bad shape. I mean, they've had some crummy paint jobs in the past, nothing that couldn't be cleaned up. These windows are not rotted out on the inside anyway. Storm windows look a little shabby, but you know, if everything else looked good, they probably wouldn't look so bad. You got some wall issues going on here. Somebody did some thin set work. It's just wasn't good work, and now it's coming off. I don't know if you have true grounded service or not, but you may. Once I start pulling some of these outlets out, I'll know what kind of electrical service you have. I know based on the size of your power or your service downstairs, the electrical service I thought was going to be knob and tube, and it very well may be, but the new outlets have been put in. It wouldn't take but a second to figure out if they're truly grounded or not. I'm going to guess that the upstairs is not grounded, but we'll find that out in the future. Now heading outside, back to the outside back area. You know, I forgot to look in the garage. I'll get back in there in a minute. A nasty old stump there. I'm going to assume that this fence belongs to the neighbor. Little unsightly back here. I'd pour a pad over this whole thing and just make it vanish. Old garage used to be here, no doubt, or carport maybe. And we have a dilapidated shed. I doubt there's anything in it, but let's take a peek. Critters only. It's a pretty cool looking old tree. Far enough away from the house that it's not causing you no issues. Some old shrubs that were probably unsightly have been removed, and those stumps are a pain in the butt. So we have our garage here. The floor looks pretty bad. I am skeptical whether or not to mess with doors. I've had them fall off the tracks on me, and I'm not properly equipped to repair them if it does. But we can take a quick peek here. So it seems that the door is not locked. It is only held by the automatic garage door. If I release it, I can lift this door. And it seems to be working. I can't open it all the way to find out, nor do I care to risk it during this inspection and have it fall off on me and leave the property unsecured with a big old open service door. Anyway, you see the see, this is why I was expecting knob and tube. I believe that the outlets throughout the house are probably dummy outlets. They are not properly grounded, but we'll know that soon enough.